Welcome to number 4 on our player profile series.
Yeah, I've waited for this one because I wanted to put a player right up high up the list actually, but not do it straight away. So you've had a chance to see how the video format goes and also to not give out any clues as to what's coming. Now Al will know as soon as I mention this player what I think of him. And I'm now looking for Al's feedback based on all my, call it biases if you will. Right, so this is Todd Gurley for this year. I want to talk about him in this video. Now, he is going to be on my bold prediction list, so I'm going to tell you that now. And what I'm about to say about him in a minute gives you a good steer as where I'm going with him. But I want to hear from Al what he really thinks of his opportunity for this year. Now, his ADP is falling finally, right, which is good news. But he's still very, very high as we've recorded this today.
Yeah, I mean, people are sort of catching up. You've been saying since December.
Yeah.
And that,
to anybody listening.
I mean, a lot of people sort of catch it, and we're talking in June now, and a lot of
Yeah.
people are sort of catching up. He did come out the other day and say he's not injured, but he
Yeah.
also said that in the playoff run, and we all know he was.
Yeah.
You know, there's no doubt in that. He wasn't the Todd Gurley we watched all year.
So, I mean, I suppose
there's 18.
18 ADP up until a couple of weeks ago.
Someone has him at 51.
It was still very high a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, he is dropping.
But he is dropping finally. But he's still going to create you that big question mark. He's one of those players that's at the turning point in a large league. So you think, as you turn into that second round, oh, look at the value that screams here. I mean, look, he led 3 out of 4 years. He was elite.
Yeah, but he did.
You know, he was elite.
He's the ultimate.
And I'm not knocking what he has done. I'm not saying the guy hasn't been elite. I'm not saying any of those things are what I'm about to say. So if you were there at the turn, so it's the turn of a large league, would you risk going for Gurley or would you find other players around that you prefer?
I'm not going to tell you.
Okay, well, that's fine. So I will tell you. I'm going to say it straight. He's dead. He's done. It's over. His NFL career is completely finished. I'm not even going to mince any words about him. It's a bold prediction. You're going to see it anyway, and I'm going to go into reasons why on that bold prediction video. But all I need to say for this video is very simply this. If you're taking shares of a guy that have asked writers in his knee, and we don't even know how many chambers are affected, and you haven't done any research on this, and you're going to rely on the potential that he might get some stem cell injections that might help him. By the way, they take 2 years to take effect. And you're hoping that this bloke is going to play. I just want you to go back and re-examine what happened last year. Al, and we've mentioned it in one video already, said to me, listen, Sean, he was like he was treading treacle. This is a light bulb moment for me. I started watching that game tape very carefully, and I knew that he wasn't injured technically. So it wasn't like he had a strain, a tear, or something obvious. And it was only afterwards the pieces started to slot together. I was very concerned because when you don't see an injury, everybody's saying he's not injured, there's no issues, you then start to question what it is that's affecting that player. Now, it's come out that it's arthritis. There's no denying this now. They've tried to hide it under the surface of how serious this is. The Rams traded up for Henderson. And I'm not going to say round 3. I'm just going to say I've got shares everywhere. I don't want to talk about this another time. But I believe that Gurley is done. And I mean completely finished. Now, you can argue that this is ridiculous. But as the seasons have gone along and we're getting closer and closer to the season, they've gone from saying, no, he'll be fine. We're just going to scale back the work a little bit to, well, you know, we're going to take some pressure off him. He's not doing any OTA work. He's only by the side of the pitch effectively. And don't get me started on he's not doing anything because he can't. Okay, this should scream red flag, run, right? If you've traded on him previously, if you had him and you got rid of him, I think you've done yourself a good service. Now, even if I'm wrong, right? So think of this. Even if he got to the start of the season and he starts with the Rams, right? And actually begins the year and maybe has 1 or 2 good games, okay? And everybody goes, you're an idiot, Sean, that's ridiculous. Do not be surprised that the guy goes suddenly from playing for 2 or 3 games to not playing for a month or 2 months. Because that's what arthritis does. You've got no control. He can't pain manage this. There's no control. His leg will swell up. He cannot play with it. And that's assuming it's only in one chamber of his knee. If it's affecting more than one area of that knee, that is why I believe he's done. And I think this is...
So is it 3 chambers in the knee?
It's 3 chambers in the knee. And I believe there's more than one chamber affected with this. And that's why they're being awfully quiet about it. And I also believe that he got his money. Thank God he did. Appreciate all the work he did. And by God, they work hard, these running backs, for their cash. So he deserves it. I'm sorry that it sounds so negative and horrible.
You're not negative on the player. You love the player. The talent's there.
I'm a Rams fan. I love the player.
It's just literally the injury.
It's just the situation has happened and it is brutal. And this is where hopefully, if I'm right, my instincts are right on this, you cash in fantasy, which is horrendous to think you have to cash on somebody else's misery, but you just do.
You won't cash in any league Sean's in because he's scared everyone to death of Gurley, so no one will touch him.
So
I know because I own Gurley and I can't, you can't give him away. So I'm happy to sit there.
Would you agree?
I'm happy
with
to sit there and gamble.
Can you see that as a potential situation?
I see the point, and I don't disagree with it, but it's coming to the point now where you have to say, well, the potential's there for him to be number one running back overall.
No doubt.
I'm going to ride it out and
see what happens.
And if he has 3 or 4 games, I might
cash in. You'll still cash. Somebody will always buy into it.
Unless you can get someone, if you can get someone to pay a high price and do it.
But so what I'm saying to you is, I think his ADP will keep falling. I think all it needs is one more bit of bad news,
and Henderson's is climbing.
Henderson's will rapidly climb. You will find when it's all said and done, as I'm going to prove to be correct in a few of these leagues, he may well be our 101 when you look back on the rookies. Seriously. So
I've seen a few people taking one.
I'm cashing in where I could as quickly as possible because I know that people will catch up once they see what's about to happen. And it's instinct as well as gut feeling. Sometimes you have to go on your instinct. I was worried in December before I knew it was arthritis. Once I knew it was arthritis, all the pieces fell into place. I was immediately thinking, wow, this is what we need to do this year. So I'm sharing that with you in this video.
I saw a fantasy expert, his name's Hilal, and he actually couldn't trade down. So he took... He's like you. He has to have Henderson at all costs. So he took him at 101.
And that's the wise thing to do. If you're in Dynasty, that's the very good point.
That's not the wise thing to do. You want to get him at the right value.
You want to get him at the right value. But I will say this. I think
6 or 7, I reckon.
Well, it's good because that's more in my line of thinking. Everybody that's seen me drafting has known that it's the value is slowly creeping more and more further down on the rookie drafts because it's had to, because I didn't want him to slip. I never let him fall outside the first round, which seemed a bit crazy at the time. But I will say this, I think that is not the worst advice, is if you feel you have to kind of tie the two together. I get that because you're trying to protect your stock. And if you can, as Al said, get rid of the player if he has a good start, then fair enough. But don't
have people you've disappointed because they've drafted Gurley and they think they're going to get Henderson and then you've taken him.
I won't let it go.
You've ruined a few people's
drafts. Now, this also will highlight something important at the end of this video, so it's quite good. Is I do see, as Al's already highlighted, Henderson's stock value continuing to climb.
He was in about 15. He's risen up to 10. Some people have got him high as 2, some as low as 31. 31's crazy.
Yeah, but what would you say in ADPs? Where would you think Henderson will go if the news keeps getting worse?
Dynasty or redraft?
Redraft. If the news keeps getting worse for Gurley, where does Henderson's stock value settle? If it was a no show,
how bad it is. If it's the same as it is now, Gurley will go where he's going.
Yeah,
and Henderson
probably quite.
Someone will come in 6th or 7th. That's where he's been rising to.
That's fair. Yeah, it's fair.
And that he started off at 9, 10, and he's got up to 6 now.
And if, for example, Gurley, there was a terrible shock to the system, and he's not actually going to start the season, and they're going to.
Then he'll be a top 2 round, won't he? He'll be second round.
So then he could fly into the top.
Yeah.
Right. That's fair. Okay, well, there you have. You heard it from Al. We love your feedback. We appreciate this. May cause some controversy. That's the idea of these videos.
And it's upsetting for people because he's
been brilliant.
I
love him.
I mean, it's upsetting for me. I own him in a couple of them, and Sean's destroyed his value. So thanks to Sean for that.
At the very least, I've done that. Even if he pads out, he's still got a great stud there. So. We'll see how it plays.
You've ruined my dynasty.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out. But there you are. So that's another player profile. Thanks for your feedback there, Al.
And what do you think? Do you think he's finished? Do you think people are overreacting? Do you think?
I don't think anybody else you'll have heard anybody saying he's finished. I think that might be the first time you've ever heard it actually on a podcast. But I'm just saying it now because I've actually been thinking this since December. So I know that sounds really cruel, but that's how I felt.
You've been telling people to
avoid.
To basically trade in if you got him.
Yeah.
And I didn't, and I wish I had now because
I just
want to give him away.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that if you've got him in Dynasty, do what you can to remove the problem and try and be clever at how you go about negotiating the deal. Good luck to you with that. And if you need advice, let us know.
Don't be stupid and take a bad deal.
No, you deserve something for it. He's a great player, and if he did pan out to be brilliant, and this is going to look like the worst piece of advice I've ever seen in Dynasty or redraft, and that is fine. I can live with that because I do believe I'm giving you a shot to actually much bigger glory with this piece of advice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping I can. What I'm going to do is hopefully I'll have 2 or 3 good games, and everyone he'll be flavour of the month again, and then I'll trade him. I think long term.
Yeah.
Because I think with arthritis, he's probably going to break down sooner or later.
Yep.
But you just got to hope you can
see how it plays out.
You can get people buying into him again.
Yes, absolutely. So good bit
Okay,
of
well,
advice.
yeah, he's a good one. He's going to split opinion. People are going to
Love it or hate it,
yeah,
and that's fine with me. But let's see what you think. I mean, more importantly, what do you guys think, girls? Do you believe that Gurley? What would he do? Do you think he will start the season? Do you think this is a mistake that he's going to be going to repeat what he does? It's an easy top 5 back that's slipping into the second round.
And he could be a top 1
And he
back.
certainly was that a couple of years back. He certainly was a top 5 back that slipped into the second round, no doubt, but didn't have any of these issues hanging over him then.
All right. Well, thanks again for watching, and let us know what you think. Give Sean pelters. I'm all for that.
Thanks.
I might do it myself.
Thanks very much.